scooping, and hauling all that heavy material out of the way. But this is not a very big shovel, and a person is only going to get so strong. It would take them hours to clear out that rock. Now, this is why the miners are very excited to see this machine come to Britannia. It takes over that shoveling for them. It's got a much bigger scoop, and this has a lot more power. I will show you how powerful this is in just a moment. It's a machine. It's going to make noise. It is not like the drill. Of course, if it's more comfortable, please cover your ears. I find this to be a little noisier than the train. The air does leak though, so the hissing sound, especially if you're standing here, is going to be a bit louder. So let's start with the air a little louder this time. Than the shovel. This is a small example of the equipment that was used to build these tunnels at Britannia. But to truly understand what it felt like to be a miner here, there's one thing that we need to change: the lights. Because even in modern mines, though we have technology like this, it's not common to have overhead lighting everywhere. So I'm going to show you what it's like to be in a mine without these lights and how theirs have evolved. So I am going to turn these ones off. If you don't love the dark, maybe someone who's with you doesn't mind being your darkness buddy. It will be completely dark for 5 seconds, and then I'll turn the first light on. I have everything that I need right there to help our eyes adjust to the darkness, but also getting you thinking like you're really a miner down here. I invite you to close your eyes. You can imagine we're back on the train, but this time you're going to be riding it for closer to an hour, traveling upwards of 4 kilometers into the mountain. Eventually, the train will come to a stop. You wake up from your little nap. This is what you see. Total darkness. But don't worry, I've got our company issued light. I'll turn that on for you now. Is the candle not done right? There we go, much better. Now we need our hands free so that we can use our tools and operate the equipment. So the workers, they would leave their candles in the wall like this, here to stay for their entire shift. But remember, the equipment is powered by air, and we saw that water that was dripping down from the ceiling. So the likelihood this is going to stay lit, pretty low. This was how they operated for the first 15 years this mine was open. So they would be using that really big piston drill that we looked at, or endlessly shoveling rock, just by candlelight. Now, thankfully, like everything else has improved with time, of course, candles got better, especially once we brought in this handy little lamp. Now, inside here, it's kind of hard to hear at the moment, but there's a chemical. It's called calcium carbide. The name is not important. It kind of looks like a white and gray chalky rock. Now, when you mix it with water, which I'm about to add, these two things produce acetylene gas. Now, that's what welders are using in a blowtorch today. Just gonna turn up a little bit more. Okay, the gas is forming. I'm just gonna give it a moment to build up in my hand. When we're ready to turn it on, hopefully, all we need to do is add in a spark. There we go. Now we can adjust it a little easier. Give it a second. It's getting tired at the end of the day. We'll give it a moment. But even with the flame small, it's a lot brighter than the candle over here. In fact, acetylene will burn about 10 times brighter than a candle will. But we've also added in a reflective disc. This pushes the light just in the direction that we need it to go. So it is easier to see all of you now, and I think this will be nicer for finding our equipment. Miners loved these lamps, but not because they were bright. They loved them for the convenience. These were their first headlamps. Does it seem like a safe thing to wear on your head? Maybe not so much. As soon as some new technology came around, the government said, no more open flames to be strapped to your face. Now you're gonna move over to a battery-operated light, which was a much safer option, but no one wanted one. Mostly because this heavy thing here, let's see, we'll light it by the candle. Can you see? This is the battery. This is the same kind of battery you can find in a car. It weighs about 3.5 kilos, which is close to 8 pounds. They had to wear this on their hip, and there's a long cord that would bring the light to the front of their hard hat. Honestly, if I had to choose between this and that little welding torch, the decision is not one hard one to make. This is very heavy. That other thing, lightweight and way brighter than this heavy battery ever was. I understand why miners continue to use those acetylene lamps illegally for a long time. Eventually, they saw the benefits of putting safety first, made the switch. This is paid off. I'm sure you all have some sort of flashlight at home that has a much smaller battery. But things have continued to get a lot brighter for those who are working underground today. Very well done in the dark, everyone. We're gonna make our way outside in just a moment. I got a couple more stops for you before we head to the mill. Any questions before we head outside? Wonderful. Just watch your step as we exit. I find this area to be the slipperiest. I'll show you where you can leave those hard hats for me as well. Just a second.